What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Scale News Update. If you're not familiar with the show, we talk about the news topics that happened over the last week in the scale world of RC. And last week was a huge week. We've got a ton of topics, so we're going to jump right into them. At the beginning of last week, I was at the NHRSA show, which is the National Hobby Retail Store Association's yearly event, where they have exhibitors who put on conferences for retail stores and dealers to let them kind of know what's going on in the industry, what may be coming from them in the future. And then also there is a tabletop show where all the exhibitors put out what they've got, what's new that's coming, just a chance to do some face-to-face meeting with the retail stores. At this event, I shot a little bit of video, just kind of cruising around the show floor. I showed some of that in the vlog update from last week's drag bolt video. Now, a lot of people wanted to see more of it. A lot of it's just simple toy stuff or hobby-related stuff, you know, adhesive manufacturers, and while those may be something that we all use, it's not necessarily the most exciting video. However, at the show, there was a number of things that were exciting and that did make the news. The one that grabbed the most attention from the show was the new Vaterra Suburban release. Now, this body has come under a lot of criticism right out of the gate, and in some ways, I definitely get it. The proportions of it just aren't there. But what they did try and do underneath is try and make it the most affordable version of the Vaterra Ascender that they've released yet. So whether your feelings on the body are positive or negative, underneath they made some changes to make it more appealing for entry-level buyers. They changed out the aluminum links for plastic links that are reinforced with a metal piece in the inside of that plastic. They did the same type of link on the low C Baja Ray and Rock Ray in the rear upper links. So they're not a bad plastic link, but they do cut costs down. They also put in the new full-size regular style battery tray rather than the floating front battery tray that we've seen in the past. They changed the licensed tires out for the tires that we used to see on the Vaterra twin hammers. So these are a smaller tire and they put them on a white wheel. Now the white wheel is a little bit of a different choice, I think. Some are gonna like it, some not so much. They also added rear upper link risers at the chassis to try and help fix the torque twist problem that the Vaterra Ascender has based on the gear ratio that has always been in those axles and kind of plagued that truck. Also, all bumpers and sliders have been removed from the truck to try and cut costs even further. The retail cost is going to be $279, so definitely their most affordable option yet. I'll make sure and leave a link in the description to any information I can find, and also make sure and comment with any of your guys' thoughts or feelings on any of the stories that we've got. Always appreciated and great for discussion. Sitting right next to the Vaterra Ascender was two new Vaterra Camaro releases. Now these look really good. I'm actually a big fan of these. I don't necessarily drive a lot of on-road cars, but these were really appealing. I liked the color choices, one being that matte green, the other being the bright orange. So either way, felt like I couldn't lose with either choice if I'm looking to pick one up. The body's a multi-piece design with nice scale details. The rear wraps around. It just, as you have it in your hand, everything looks really good on the vehicle. Just a nice looking, very scale package. The next thing I saw while at the show was the new HPI Venture Scale Builders Kit. This is a stripped down Venture with a handful of upgrades. They got rid of the plastic links in place of machined aluminum links, and they got rid of the dog bone front axles and put in a set of CVDs. The plastic links and the dog bone front axle shafts were kind of a bummer at the price point that it was at. It does still have a rear battery tray. This is just a stripped down package and something that a lot of people have been asking for quite a while. However, we'll have to see if the people are gonna put their money where their mouth is and actually end up buying these. Those of us who are really into complete builds, taking something and turning it into a vehicle that looks completely different than what it started as, we're not a majority of the market. So offering a kit like this could pan out, or maybe it won't. It just depends on how the market is really performing with the number of people that are willing to take this just blank slate and turn it into what they have envisioned. A lot of people just don't have that vision. They want to see a vehicle on a shelf and that's what they like, and they want to start with that. We'll see if this move from HPI pays off. But we are starting to see manufacturers play around with options that don't necessarily follow the traditional mold of a kit that we've seen up to this point. I'm sure that we may see other manufacturers follow in this way in the future, especially if this kit from HPI is successful. So a ton of news from the NHRSA show, but it didn't stop there. The rest of the week was super busy with new releases as well. Axial officially released the new hardtop option for their Blazer body. This is a Lexan version of the hardtop that you would traditionally find on a K5 Blazer. And this one has a functioning rear hatch for the backside to make sure that you can easily get to the body pins that sit underneath of where the hardtop would be. So this makes it much easier than the hardtop that we saw available for like the 2012 Jeep JK from Axial, where once you actually attached it to the cage, you almost couldn't get to those rear body pins. So they realized it and fixed it on this one. Pretty good looking deal. It doesn't have an actual latch to keep it closed, so you'll have to sort that out yourself, but definitely adds a cool look. And if you're interested, I'll put a link to it in the description below. This week we saw some pictures pop up from JD Model, and they are showing a very scaled out looking Ford Raptor, but it looks like it actually says Hero across the tailgate. However, it's just a very scale model. Independent front suspension, solid axle rear, and it looks like it's got locking differential options. It's got a scale looking motor transmission transfer case in it, something that overall just looks like a daily driver. Now, this is something that people always want to have, a very scale looking model, but they don't necessarily realize the limitations that it's going to put onto it. When you have something that is this close to the scale proportions of suspension travel and approach and departure angles, ground clearance, the whole deal, you're going to end up with something that is very limited in its abilities. Now, we don't have any official information on it yet. JD Model, we have seen them release the Dakar truck earlier, and that was sold through RC 4-wheel drive, at least here in the United States. So if I was to guess, I would say that we'll see this available through RC 4-wheel drive possibly in the weeks or months to come. As we see more or we see pricing information on it, we'll follow back up as well. For you Traxxas TRX4 fans, Traxxas has released a set of HD front and rear inner axle shafts built out of 4340 chromoly. This integrates the upper gear in the portal box and the inner shaft as well. Gets rid of that cast inner top gear CV combination. That was definitely a weak point in the Traxxas TRX4. Looks like we finally got some sort of upgrade available for it now though. So I'll put the link to where those will be available in the description below. Knight Customs has introduced something completely new to their business model. And what they're doing is they're combining print your own parts with their full line of detailed parts. What Knight Customs is doing is they're providing the base for the interior for many popular trucks. And right now they're starting with the Axial C10 truck body and the Traxxas TRX4 Bronco. And what he is doing is he's providing the base pan, which includes the seats and the floor pan kind of coming up to where the dash would go. And what you do is you print that yourself or have it printed by a friend or somebody that you can find with a 3D printer. But that is printed on a traditional FDM style 3D printer, which makes it much more affordable than what that base would cost to have printed by Shapeways. And so instead of buying a $50, $60, or $80 base for your interior, you can find it and have it printed for much, much less. And then Knight Customs is offering a whole host of detail pieces that you can add, such as dashes, door panels, interior cages, tons and tons of detail parts. Looks like this is going to be something that he's going to try and roll out for more and more bodies. So if you're looking to do this, make sure that you're logged in to Shapeways to be able to download the files. If you're not logged in, you may not see that, but once you are, you can download the free interior base files and go from there. Overall, I think this is a great option and something that should help a lot of you guys detail out your trucks for much lower investment. This week, Tamiya released a new version of their on-road racing semi package on the TT01E chassis. And this one is the Buggyra Fat Fox 1/14 scale version. I just love these little on-road racing semi setups that Tamiya has. I still haven't bought one. I've looked at them since they first came out. The price is great on them in general. I just haven't decided to pick one up. This one looks so much better than all of the other ones I think so far. So this one really has me tempted to pick it up. I think I may have to do it. It's just a cool model. Of course, Tamiya does a great job with the paint jobs and things like that that they put on these things to make them look so good. But it just may be one of those ones that I finally bite the bullet and decide to pick one of these up. And if you're interested as well, I'll put the link in the description below. And for our last story of the week, we'll talk about a new one that's being released from Cross RC. This one is under the model name SU4. This is their SUV style. It looks like it's on the same SG4 style platform, but this is a Lexan body version of an SUV. Overall, the details are pretty good. The SG4 is a decent platform. It's got a little bit of hiccups with suspension geometry and things like that, but the video that I've seen on this one performing so far doesn't look too bad. I think Cross RC is definitely trying to play a little bit more in this side of the market, and it does appear that they're learning and coming up with some things that make it more and more of a viable option. Overall, the details on this thing look pretty decent with an interior, roof rack, a spare tire cover at least, decent looking tires and wheels. It does still have a servo and axle, but it does look like they've at least adjusted that rear suspension geometry to possibly perform a little bit better. And like I said, in the videos, it does look like it's a little bit more reasonable. But as always, just one more option for us all to have in the scale world. And that's gonna do it for the news topics for this week. With the amount of stories that we had, not gonna have time to do question and answers, but we'll get back to that next week. I hope you guys have an awesome week coming up. Like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're not already. Make sure to drop a comment with your thoughts on any of the stories that we went over. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.